I'm still curious of what happened to this Budur and Jubair marriage. I'm still curious. I don't quite get it. I'm looking at night 334. Morning now dawned. And Shahrazad broke off from what she had been allowed to say. Then, when it was the 334th night, she continued, I have heard, O fortunate king, that Jubair told Ali I asked her to repeat the lines to the same tune, but she refused. So I told my boatman to pelt her, which they did with oranges. They pelted her with oranges. No wonder she's mad at him. Until we were afraid that her boat would sink. She then went off on her way, and it was because of this that love was transferred from her heart to mine. Hmm. Somehow the love got transferred. Do you know how to do love transfers?
Mm-hmm.
How's that different from a money transfer, like a love transfer? The love was transferred from her heart to mine, Ali concluded. After congratulating the two of them on their union, I took the bag and its contents and set off for Baghdad. That's it? That's the answer? The answer is you throw oranges at. If you find a girl you like, you ask her to repeat her song or poetry, and if she refuses, you pelt her with oranges. And that's how the love was transferred.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Dear, I'm just taking it literally. I don't understand anything, so I read into it literally. This story pleased Harun al-Rashid, and his sleeplessness and ill humor left him. Now, you see, like, she's telling this to the Caliph, but I don't know if this Harun al-Rashid is like a stand-in for the angry Caliph. She's trying to keep from cutting off her head. His sleeplessness and his ill humor left him. So she says his ill humor left him.
Even his humor was real.
If I keep saying over and over and over that his ill humor left him,
After 300 and more
if I say
stories.
over 1,001 nights that the ill humor left,
Not 1,000 yet, 300
if you listen to all of the 1,000 nights, your ill humor could leave you.
He was transformed by then, he was nice.
You could become nice. In other words, if you read or listen to the 1,001 Nights, you could become nice. Could be. It's like therapy. It's better than Freud, I guess. You think it's better than Freud? Hmm. That's the question I have.
Yes, and with Freud, the story is the dream.
Hmm.
Probably some people dream the stories.
A story is also told that one day Al-Mamun, the commander of the faithful, was sitting in his palace, to which he had summoned the state officials and the principal officers of the kingdom, as well as the poets, and his boon companions. Which is boon? Boon. Do you have boon companions? Is that like your favorite companions?
Probably the ones who make you feel
Boon. Among the latter was a man called Muhammad of Basra, and it was to him that Al-Ma'mun turned. Who's this Al-Mamun? Oh, Al-Mamun is the commander of the faithful. Turned, telling him, I want you to tell me something that I have never heard before. Shall I tell you of something that I have heard or something that I have seen myself? So she's like asking, do you want a story or something I saw? Muhammad answered, whatever is stranger. Al-Mamun told him, so Muhammad began. Do you think nowadays they'll ask for something that's stranger? Because the internet says, give me something strange I've never heard before. There's a demand for strangeness. All right, whichever is stranger. You must know, Commander of the Faithful, that in days gone by, there was a wealthy man who moved from his native Yemen to Baghdad. As he found this a pleasant place in which to live, he moved his family, his goods, and his household there. This man had 6 slave girls, beautiful as moons. Of these, one was white, the second dark, the third plump, the fourth thin, the fifth yellow, and the sixth black. Nice assortment of slave girls. They were not only beautiful, but cultured, skilled singers and musicians. One day it happened that he had all 6 of them with him. He sent for food and wine, and they ate, drank, and enjoyed themselves merrily. Their master, holding in his hand a glass which he had filled, pointed to the white girl and said, you whose face is like the new moon, give us something delightful to hear. The girl took her lute and turned it and played airs until the whole place danced, and then to its accompaniment she chanted these lines. I have a beloved whose image is before my eyes and whose name is hidden within me. When I remember him, I am all heart, and when I look at him, I am all eyes. The censor told me to forget my love for him. I said, how can what cannot happen come to be? I said, go, censor, leave me. Do not make light of what cannot be light for me. Nice poem. The girl's master was delighted. He drained his glass and poured wine for the girls, after which he refilled his glass, and holding it in his hand, he pointed to the dark girl and said, sweet breath, light of the firebrand, let me hear your lovely voice, which bewitches all who hear it. So she took her lute and played trilling airs on it until the whole room was filled with delight, and the hearts of her audience were captivated by the looks that she turned on them. These were the lines that she recited. I take an oath to love no one but you until I die, and never to betray your love. You are the full moon, veiled in loveliness, and all the beauties march beneath your flag. You have surpassed them all in grace, and the God of all creation has shown you his favor. Again the girl's master was delighted. He drank his glass and poured wine for the girls. He filled his glass again, and holding it in his hand, he pointed to the plump girl and told her to sing a sample of love poetry. Taking her lute, she played an air that banished sorrow, reciting these lines. If you are truly pleased, you who are my desire, do not care whether all the rest are furious. If I can see your handsome face, I do not care. If all earth's kings are hidden from me, your pleasure is all I want in this world, you from whom all beauty is derived. The master was delighted. He took his glass, poured wine for the girls, filled his own glass, holding it in his hand. He pointed to the thin girl and said, Ori of paradise, let me hear your sweet words. So she took her lute and turned it, played airs on it. Then recited these lines. Does what you have done to me follow the path of God? You have turned from me when I cannot endure without you. Has love no arbitrator who can judge between us to ensure my rights and win me justice from you? The master was delighted. He drained his glass, poured wine for the girls, refilled the glass, and holding it in his hand, he pointed to the yellow girl and said, Son of the day, let us hear some eloquent poetry. Taking her lute, she played on it the finest of airs and recited these lines. When I show myself to my lover, he draws a sword against me from his eyes. May God see that I get some justice from him when he treats me roughly while my heart is in his hand. Whenever I tell this heart to let him be, it still inclines to him, and to him alone. Among all mankind, he is the one I seek, but time, the mighty, envies me his love. The master was delighted. He drank his wine, poured wine for the girls, refilled the glass, and holding it in his hand, he pointed to the black girl and said, O pupil of the eye, let us hear something, even if it is only 2 words. She took her lute, turned it, tightening the strings, and she played a number of airs before returning to the first and chanting these lines to its accompaniment. I, be generous with your tears. My ardor has lost me my being. I must endure passion for a beloved. My intimate suffering while the envious rejoice. These censors keep me far from the rosy cheek, although I have a heart yearning for the rose. Wine cups once circulated there, in joy, as the lutes played. When the lover was still true to me, I was filled with love. Thanks to his faithfulness, good fortune's star shone out. Then, through no fault of mine, he turned away. What is there bitterer than being shunned? Fresh roses bloom upon his cheeks. By God, how beautiful are rosy cheeks. If piety allowed me to prostrate myself to anyone but God, I would prostrate myself to him. After this, the girls got up, and after kissing the ground in front of their master, they asked him to judge between them, looking at their beauty and gracefulness, as well as the variety of their colors. He praised and extolled Almighty God, and then he said, There is not one of you who has not studied the Quran, learned music, acquired knowledge of our ancestors, as well as the doings of past peoples. I want each of you to get up and point to her opposite. I mean white to dark, plump to thin, yellow to black. Each is then to praise herself and find fault with her opposite. Who is then to rise and do the same thing to her? In what you say, you should use Quranic quotations, references to history, and lines of poetry, so as to display your culture and your eloquence. To hear is to obey, they said. Wow, this is quite an evening of culture. Night 334. In night 334 we have all these girls reading poetry. Very nice. I liked it. You like it? It's quite a culture night.